His whole life was centered around the Eucharist. Today, we are celebrating the feast of Saint Joseph Vaz. He was born in Benaulim, in Goa, in the year 1651. And he was ordained at the age of 25 as a priest and oratorian. And 5 years he had worked in India. And during the 5 years, he learned many important things to be highly effective as a priest and as a missionary. And I would like to mention that there are 5 important things that he had learned, which he continued to use them in his ministry. And the first 2 things are vitally important for his life, and those were an extraordinary love and a devotion to the Eucharist. His whole life was centered around the Eucharist. And because of that love, devotion, and reverence, he was able to carry that same devotion in the lives of people. And the second important thing that he had done was entering into or signing a letter of bondage with Mother Mary, that he would remain forever in the service of Mary as a slave. And he was able to carry out precisely because of his love for Mother Mary, as well as wanting to do what she had done in the life of Jesus and in the early church. The third important thing that St. Joseph Vaz had learned was the importance of inculturation. Wherever he went, he knew the importance of being in the midst of people, learning their culture, their language, and their way of life, their cultural life, and integrating in the midst of those people. And Joseph was able to do that. And the fourth important thing was for his personal life. He lived a life of extraordinary asceticism. And it was his personal asceticism of simplicity, sacrifice, wanting to share whatever he was getting with others, brought many, many people close to him. And the last important thing that he learned for his missionary work was the importance of proclamation, fearlessly, courageously, with commitment and dedication, reaching out to many people and proclaiming the good news. After learning for 5 years, he went as a missionary from India to Sri Lanka. And the next 30 years he spent there. And those 30 years were years of great challenge, suffering, dedication, commitment, trial. And why? Because the Dutch, they were suppressing Catholic religion and trying to impose Calvinism. And single-handedly, St. Joseph was able to keep the faith of the people alive. He went from place to place giving communion. He went from place to place hearing the confession of people. He went from place to place being in the midst of people, sharing his faith experience with others. He went from place to place establishing small Catholic communities and instructing them to remain faithful. He went from place to place communicating to them about the importance of living their faith courageously, fearlessly. After 30 long years as a missionary in Sri Lanka, he died as a servant of God, as a great missionary in Sri Lanka. And 3 years ago, Pope Francis has canonized him as a saint. Today, when we celebrate the feast of St. Joseph Vaz, let us thank God for the gift of St. Joseph was to us and to the Church. Let us pray for all of us, particularly the people in Goa, the people in Sri Lanka, that the Lord may continue to be with them and give them the grace and the courage to imitate St. Joseph was and live a dedicated, committed, authentic Christian life. Amen.